Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. It is exactly 8:40 a.m. South African time. We cross over to India. We're going to be joined by Asif Mujtaba, and that clip that we tried to view just now is a clip of a masjid or a mosque being demolished in India. This has already happened. We also understand that UNESCO's former chair of International Water Cooperation, Ashok Swain, shared this video of the mosque being bulldozed on his official Twitter handle, including journalist and activist against Islamophobia, C.J. Werleman. He also shared the video saying that the mosque has been demolished by the Hindutva regime under the pretext of widening the road. So let's hear more about the story. We also know very, very sadly that nearly 500 mosques and shrines in the state of Gujarat in India have been demolished to date, and this is according to an official report. And a historical mosque located in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh was reportedly demolished on Sunday in order to widen the road. We are talking about the mosque that we tried of the video that we watched a minute ago. So that is in context with what we're going to be talking to Asif right now. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum assalam.
A very sad state of affairs, is it not? I mean, if people are being Islamophobic, we do know that the Modi government is very anti-Islam, and he has stirred up his supporters on many, many occasions. There's been issues around women being harassed because they wear the hijab. They've been banned from tertiary education, schools and tertiary institutions simply because they're wearing the hijab. And for a long time now, we're also hearing about our mosques being razed to the grounds. What's the mood like there amongst Muslims? And are the Muslim leadership trying to negotiate and trying to let the authorities see reason regarding this issue? It is so senseless. And the mosques and churches and temples, etc., are a part of India's rich and beautiful heritage, is it not?
Definitely. See, if you look at it as an individual incident, you will feel like a place that was demolished just to widen a road, right? But if you look at the larger context, in terms of what is happening in the country for almost 4 years for now, as we speak, thousands of Muslims in a state like Assam, their houses are getting demolished in terms of the encroachment tribe. As we speak, the attack on tribal Christians in Chhattisgarh, one of the states in the country, it has proliferated to an extent that Christians had to stage a sit-in protest just to make sure that their voices are being heard. We have seen mosques, religious institutions, seminaries getting demolished on the pretext of supporting terrorists. We have seen mosques getting demolished on the pretext of, not adhering to the town planning. We have seen mosques getting demolished on the pretext of the widening of the road. We have seen mosques demolished on the pretext of just because it was a temple before they claim, right? So it doesn't matter what the pretext Hindutva regime picks, it always ends up in demolition of a structure that is very close to Muslim, either their homes or their mosque or shrines, right? Last year, I was on my visit to Gujarat. I saw a lot of shrines getting destroyed, burnt. In the state like Madhya Pradesh, where we visited after there was a massive riot, we have seen that even the common households, even the people with small business, they were all burnt and later demolished using the machinery of the state, saying that they were part of the riot that happened. So in country, in overall context, Muslims were educationally marginalized, politically they were irrelevant, and they are socially very backward, economically very poor. But that is the figure almost a decade back. Now Muslim issues and the Muslim presence has been made irrelevant by the Hindutva regime. In terms of, you see, if you talk about what we feel as a Muslim, we feel totally dejected. Like the mosque that you told about, the mosque that we are going to visit, it's a 15th century historic mosque,
Oh,
and even the historic mosque have no place. We have seen a Hindutva murderous mob demolishing a historic mosque called Babri Masjid in 1992, and the shamefully, this apex court, called Supreme Court of the country, they paved the way for construction of a massive Hindu temple there. So what the decision of Supreme Court, whatever decision came in August, it paved the way, and it's no surprise that Hindutva regime and the fringe groups, which are now the new normal groups, they have laid claim to around 1,000 of the historic mosques in the country. So what started with demolition of a mosque called Babri in the broad daylight has ended up in claiming thousands of the mosques that they were temple before and reconverted. In terms of the political leadership of the country for Muslims, I think Muslims are politically irrelevant. So in one of the largest state with the largest number of population, I think even more than the entire population of India, we have
we
seen
just seem
that
to
this
have.
it,
Okay, Asif,
hello,
I lost you. I
yeah,
lost you there for a minute. Please continue.
yes. In terms of political representation, Muslims are totally marginalized and made irrelevant. In one of the state called Uttar Pradesh, with the largest Muslim population, more than the population of the entire Pakistan, right? They failed to field even a single Muslim candidate. We don't have a Muslim ministers. Uh, Muslims are educationally backward. This was the report of one of the committee that was formed more than a decade back. And this year, the central government under the Modi, under the Hindutva regime, they have cancelled the scholarship being given to Muslims. So our scholarships are getting cancelled. The girls are not allowed to go to educational institute wearing hijabs. They have cancelled the scholarship in like pre-matric at very elementary level. They have cancelled the scholarship at very advanced level. So they don't want Muslim to get education properly. They don't want Muslim to get politically represented formally. They don't want get Muslims to at least have a peaceful namaz in their mosque. So it is as if the state is very, adamant in telling Muslims of the country that look, your mosques are illegal, your madrasas are illegal, your hijab is illegal, your houses are illegal, your existence as an Indian Muslim is itself illegal. So that's very pathetic, that's very shameful. And this is something that need to be brought at a larger international forum. Ji.
Asif, we do know that there's a very strong anti-Muslim narrative that is being spread in India. And we do also know this is due to the dedicated effort by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindutva party, BJP. Obviously, we know this has been long ongoing. Uh, when you were governed by, when Congress was in power, you didn't see such large scale Islamophobic attacks on the Muslims. Well, why do you think this has changed? Does this go back to the days of partition? Is this linked in with the issue between Pakistan and India regarding Kashmir? What do you suppose is the reason for all of this playing out? In the past, we do know we had the issue around the untouchables or the Dalits. And it seems as if the focus has moved from them to the Muslim population in India. And what does this government expect these people, if they are marginalizing the Muslims in India? Where are you expected to go to? You won't be able to be absorbed in Pakistan. They're overpopulated as it is. What exactly is the master plan here? Can you respond to those questions, please?
See, there were plethora of dimensions to your question, and they all need separate answers. The very first tweet, there is a famous quote called "Rome was not built in a day." I always say it at lots of platforms that the road to Islamophobia was not created in a single decade. What we are seeing now is a product of what Congress and other secular parties did for long. From the independence till now, there 7 decades have passed. In those 7 decades, around 6 decades were ruled by a so-called secular party called Congress. What we are seeing now is what Congress sowed long before. So when Babri
Ah,
Masjid was demolished in a broad daylight, it was the Congress regime at the center. The Congress Prime Minister shamelessly paved the way for the demolition and boasted about it. Last year, where Supreme Court gave a verdict in favor of the construction of Ram Temple, Congress Twitter handles uh, posted it. That doesn't matter under whose regime this Supreme Court judgment came. It was the Congress who laid way to demolition of the Babri Masjid. So Congress gave a tacit protection to the Hindutva group called the RSS for long. Congress
oh,
is the
so
one.
they are
See,
not, their hands are not clean. So Congress is not
not at
the
all. And they
squeaky
see
clean party that we are led to believe.
their hands are more dirtier. In terms of the anti-Muslim rights, I would name more than 20 dreadful, like horrendous rights that took place in the regime of the Congress. And in none of those cases, Muslims got justice. So there were large scale killing of Muslims in Hashimpura, in Malyana, in Nellai, in Bihar, and other parts of the country. So what we are seeing now is what Congress kept on doing. But the beautiful part was Congress and the other secular party kept on doing it in shadows. And
Ah,
BJP shamelessly is doing in the light. That's why it's causing a lot of attention. But the thing is, the beauty of India, you say the idea of coexistence was imbibed for long. The idea of Hindutva and the hate towards Islam or Islamophobia is always imbibed for long. It's not a short thing. So, see, a lot of Congress ministers have changed sides and they have joined BJP. It is easy for a Congress like changing the drapes. They are changing clothes, like changing party. So congressmen were already there with the BJP mindset, with the Hindutva mindset in Congress, and later they joined it. So, in terms of the first question, the Congress hands are more dirtier than the BJP. What we are seeing now is a result of the policies of Congress. That what see you say they are trying to marginalize Muslims. They are not. Muslims have already been marginalized. Look at our political representation. Look at our educational statistics. Look at our contribution to the economics of the country. We are already marginalized. We were marginalized long back. Now we have been invisibilized. So, I mean, almost a fortnight back, the state government in Uttarakhand wanted to demolish 5,000 houses that had 50,000 Muslims in majority. In the severe winter, they were planning to demolish the houses. Later, with the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court, it was stopped. But you see, the state government, which is there to protect its own citizen, they were ready to demolish 5,000 houses to render 50,000 people homeless, 50,000 Muslims homeless. So it doesn't matter what magnitude of Muslims are getting troubled or disturbed. The state with the Hindutva,
okay.
with Enam, they will do so.
Asif, we're running out of time. Let me ask you this question. So, what is the hope and what is the way forward for the Muslim population in India? And we know that you number in the millions. There's a very, very big Muslim population in India. What's your hope and how do you move forward? Because even Congress is no hope for you.
Not at all. Look, the only hope comes from the people. In December 2019, the BJP government under Modi, they enacted a very contentious, Islamophobic, selectively criminal and arbitrary act called the Citizenship Amendment Act. They wanted to make Muslim out of getting citizenship in the way they allowed other communities to get citizenship to the country. In December, there were large scale anti CA protests happening in the country. I mean, I would say I was part of one of the largest protest sites that ever took place called Shaheen Bagh. We did it. We sat on the road. We told the government that, look, enough has passed. So, against all darkness, there is a hope. The hope does not come from the executive of the country, because the executive of the country shamelessly is under the effect of the Hindutva. The hope of the country is not coming from the judiciary, because the Supreme Court is a party to our killings. They have hands on their blood. They have hands on our blood. It is not coming from the legislature of the country, because they are enacting laws like CAA. I mean, the only hope at these dark hour is from the people. That the people of this country, this people that of the country we call home, they will rise up and they will stand up for us.
Okay, we've lost Asif there. Unfortunately, let's leave it. Hopefully, we can hook up with him in a future program to get a closure on this matter. We have run out of time. Asif, we'll talk to you again in the future. Shukran very
Definitely.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Assalamu
Sure.
alaikum. Our
Walaikum
du'as with
assalam.
the Muslims of India,
Yes,
inshallah.
definitely. Inshallah.
It is exactly 8:56. Standing by to talk with us is the South African Weather Services. This is News and Views on Salam Media.